I'm Tracy Weatherby. I'm the content lead for business models and impact models for the GSBI. I have a consulting firm called Active Ingredient, and I've been working with the GSBI for about 5 years, and I've served as an executive fellow and as the content lead for the last several years. And so what we wanted to do is give you an orientation to this module, and we will be covering mission, your impact model, your impact metrics, and then also your business model description. So one of the things that we think is really important in the GSBI program is you're social entrepreneurs. The mission has to come first. So we're focusing first on the mission, and then looking at what your impact is, and then what's the business model that makes it all work. So you'll see in this slide, the mission should go first to the impact model, and we want to understand how is it you're going to do what you're going to do. But then we need to understand how it links to the business model. So one of the things that is a really crucial concept for us is how well integrated your business model is to your impact model. In some businesses, they're just one and the same. You know, if you're selling solar lanterns and your main mission and impact is that you're trying to increase people's access to energy, then your business model and your impact model are extremely tightly tied together. However, in some cases, for instance, Tom's Shoes, you might have a business model where what you're doing is selling shoes to people in Western nations, and then with your profit, you're turning around and donating shoes to people in lesser developed countries. In that case, your business model and your impact model are not terribly closely tied. There's a link, but they're not one and the same. In general, the closer your impact model and your business model are tied, the easier it is for you to manage your business and make sure that you're getting the impact you need at the same time that you're building a sustaining business. And one other thing that we like to really explicitly address is that given that there is an impact model and a business model, often you have to really address the trade-offs between your impact and your profit. And how you choose to do that is different for every business. For some people, they have a lot of financial first investors and they believe there's a very strong business model, and they're willing in the short term or even the longer term to trade off a little bit of impact or get to that impact more slowly because they've promised a really strong return to their investors. In other cases, we have people who are nonprofits and their goal is to operate as close to zero profit as possible, and they want to maximize their impact in all circumstances. So one thing that we like people to think about is just make that explicit. Understand where you are on that spectrum and what your trade-offs are. Since you do have a mission which is leading to your impact model and then your business model, there are all kinds of integration points. And so you need to think about each of them a little bit as you're doing this sort of planning. The first one is the value proposition. You may have a value proposition if your impact model and your business model are linked very tightly that is exactly the same for your customers and your beneficiaries. Your customers are your beneficiaries. They're the people who are buying your solar lanterns, for instance, in the previous example. If you are Tom's Shoes, then you have two very different value propositions. One for the customers who are buying the shoes in the more developed countries, and a totally different value proposition for the people who are distributing or getting access to the shoes in lower developed countries. Same thing with distribution. More closely tied they are, the more likely it's a single thing, but in some cases you may have customers who are very separate from your beneficiaries. And this works all the way through your business model. The value chains and unit economics will be a little bit different. We'll talk about that more in Module 5. Same thing with the cost drivers and sensitivity modeling. You may find they're very different for each part of your business. Once again, we'll talk about that in Module 5. And then lastly, in your business structure, if you are a company that is for profit all the way, but where you're accomplishing some social good, you may be a straight-on for-profit. Some people may be a non-profit. Other folks may be a hybrid because of the way their model's put together. So with that introduction, we're going to move into talking in more detail in the next videos about your mission, your impact model, your metrics, and your business model description. Thanks.